second time that I had one of those experiences. I was counting my cash register at the beginning of my shift. $35 in ones, a bunch of fives, a few tens, maybe a 20. A coworker offhandedly asked me a question, something like, "Hey, which way did you ride in today?" And I started to respond. "I rode my bike along the riverway." And then, as I pictured the river in my mind's eye and the paved bike path before, I was suddenly no longer inside of myself and saw the entire city spread out below me. The river winding through the land, the city built up on top of cow pastures, on top of fishing villages, and above me, the blue, blue sky arched over. There were shining, crisscrossing lines etched above, connecting all, connecting everything, everything. Looking back towards the planet, I was not sure what home was, or what work was, or where those things were in relation to anything else. I had just said that I had ridden my bike along the riverway, but what was riverway? And what was I? And what did it mean to go somewhere when everything was everywhere? And then suddenly I wondered, where am I? Am I lost? And then I was back at the desk, and my coworker was saying, "See you later," as she walked out of the back room. Shaken, I put on my apron and headed out to serve coffee. This was the second time that I had a transcendent experience when my consciousness abruptly shifted from regular day-to-day experience to something altogether different. I don't remember the first time, but I recognized the feelings, and I recognized the knowing. The philosopher and psychologist William James called these moments religious experiences. Others have called these spiritual, mystical, ecstatic experiences. And more recently, these flashes of connection have been called peak experiences or being in the flow. Often these moments include feelings or knowings of complete and utter connection, oneness of all, blissful peace, all-encompassing love, never-ending vastness, or a deep, silent knowing. Often one's sense of self diminishes. Sometimes everything all around seems brighter, shimmering in connectedness, more alive than it did before. However you describe these experiences and whatever you call them, they can be euphoric, can inspire life changes, but they may also be startling or possibly frightening. In his book, After the Ecstasy, The Laundry, How the Heart Grows Wise on the Spiritual Path, Jack Kornfield shares the story of a teacher's experience of a transcendent moment during an extended meditation retreat. The teacher shares this. "One afternoon I lay down to meditate in the heat of the day. My eyes closed and effortlessly there was an awareness of all the sensations of this new posture. All the perceptions floated by, arising and vanishing like bubbles in soda. I felt myself letting go into this, and the perceptions came even more quickly, as if the universe was rapidly pulsing, and now becoming pulses of light like fireflies. A moment of fear came and went, then my mind opened and somehow fell down, and all was totally silent. Beyond silence, there was no me, no experience, nothing, no words to put to this, only a knowing. The world rested in an ocean of peace, out of which all appearances arise and vanish. It was stunning. I knew the essence of consciousness to be this vast peace. And beyond this world, where everything is born, changes and dies, is the ever-present reality, this vast, vast peace." I deeply appreciate that the Unitarian Universalist tradition, which we share, draws from many sources, including the direct experience of that transcending mystery and wonder, affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. These wondrous moments of connection are the direct experience of mystery, of the holy, that which connects us to all. There is a wide range of these experiences, encompassing monumental, life-altering moments to states of high focus and everything in between. There is nothing unique about these direct experiences of mystery and wonder. They seem to be quite common, even if we don't speak about them very often. However, each one of these moments may be extraordinary for the person experiencing that moment. It seems that human beings have had and have sought these mystical encounters throughout time. Some say the paintings in the caves of Lascaux were an attempt to step outside ourselves into something else. We have been trying to recreate these moments for hundreds of thousands of years through various ecstatic techniques such as strenuous dancing, chanting, repetitive drumming, fasting, self-inflicted pain, sensory deprivation, meditation, or mind-altering medicine. Over the past 5 centuries, Western culture has gradually marginalized and pathologized these moments of ecstasy and religious experience. The mystical and contemplative branches of many religions where these moments were welcomed were hidden and ostracized. However, we have continued to experience spiritual ecstasy. Many have found deep meaning in these moments of transcending the self and connection to everything. Neuroscience research has shown that during transcendent states, there is decreased activity in the area of the brain that locates the self in space and distinguishes it from everything else. When information from this part of the brain decreases, the brain can no longer separate the self from the surrounding environment. This is why people feel their sense of self diminish, while also feeling connected to everyone and everything around them. Years ago, I inadvertently experienced self-transcendent states in dance clubs. At the time, I thought I was simply having fun with friends, but I also remember feeling connected to all the other people in the club and the whole world. It was only when I participated in Sufi zikr, which is a ritualistic, rhythmic chanting and dancing of the names of Allah, guided by a religious leader, that I began to shift my understanding of dancing in nightclubs. I came to understand that dancing was a socially acceptable way to experience religious ecstasy. I've come to believe that many of us, raised in Western culture, lost the religious context for self-transcendence when we shunned the mystical branches of religious practice. Passionate religious experience was especially frowned upon by early Unitarians in New England. It wasn't until much later that the Unitarian Universalists welcomed direct religious experience as a source of inspiration. In her blog post, Unleashing the Joy of Transcendent Experience, author and mystical poet Cheryl Eckel wrote, "It is universally accepted that peak experiences are brief but extremely intense, blissful, meaningful, and beneficial experiences of expanded identity and union with the universe." She then continues, referring to the work of psychologist Abraham Maslow. She writes that Maslow believed that healthy individuals who have mystical experiences may offer useful and insightful observations that could help us to light our own path through the mundane to the transcendent. I wrestle with a focus on mystical experience and transcending oneself when the world in which we live is filled with oppression, injustice, mass shootings, materialistic corruption, environmental degradation, and all the other horrors. But I wonder if we in Western culture shared our personal mystical experiences with others, if we talked about what it feels like to know that all is one, if we recognize these moments as valid and truthful, I I wonder if we might begin to move away from our individualistic outlook to a more inclusive, connected, and communal outlook. If we all knew, deep inside, with an unshakable certainty, that the entire universe is one interconnected experience, might we work to undo the damage that we have done? Might we work to care for the earth? I pray that it is so, for she is us, and we are